Hello, this is the Monotone Sensors here with another video. Today is going to be about the Blackwater Massacre that happened in Iraq quite some time ago. I think it was 2014, I believe. And it was really hard to get anything on this. That was, I guess, unbiased because, recently Trump pardoned these guys and it was really hard to do some research into what happened because of the pardons, vast majority, almost every single one of them were about the pardon, how Trump was a piece of shit. I want to get into that and see if he really was. This was a mistake, or these pardons were kind of just unjustified. What happened, the incident, and what happened afterwards, etc. Now, it is very hard to get an unbiased report. As I said earlier, it took quite some time to get some information. Even then, it wasn't straightforward. Very unfortunately, that I couldn't get anything that was solid. Unfortunately, I did see some interviews on YouTube of not only eyewitnesses of the actual shooting, but actual interviews with the gunman and some of the the contractor and stuff like that. Was very interesting on both sides. Definitely, you should at least look into them as I did and try to formulate your own opinion. Now, the most unbiased article I found, which is kind of sad and funny at the same time, not really funny, haha, but just like, wow, what the fuck, it was on Wikipedia. That is the most unbiased article I've read in quite some time. Actually, it was actually not bad. Um, but other than that, I couldn't really find too much exactly what happened, which makes me believe that the U.S. probably knows 100% what went down there, but they're not going to admit shit. The Iraqi government determined they were guilty, but not right away. The first trial failed, and they couldn't be prosecuted for like 6 or 7 years. They had like immunity from being prosecuted again for quite some time, which is very interesting. A lot of people do not bring up or mention in the articles that at least I read, which is, I don't know, that seems really weird. And what transpired during the whole thing is very confusing, and I don't know 100% either. Like, there's some conflicting stories of who shot first. It was in the era of, IEDs and car bombings and stuff like that. So what happened, what went down, I don't know if it's reasonable or not, but I think it was wrong, definitely wrong, for them to kill some. I think it was 17 civilians. No matter if it's like atrocity of the war, or like collateral damage. It's wrong to kill civilians. Of course, it's really hard to tell between who's a civilian, who's a bomber, etc., etc. There are a little bit of exceptions here and there, but you gotta take into account a lot of these people probably were innocent. We don't know that 100%. If you want to trust the Iraqi government and their findings, go ahead. I wouldn't trust them. I don't trust our own fucking government. I trust our government just as much as I trust theirs. So I don't know exactly what fucking went down, but some shit hit the fan. A bunch of people died, and Trump pardoned them. A bunch of civilians and a couple kids. I think it was one or two kids. And I think that's wrong. Of course, it's wrong. It's immoral, and they should, I think, face some kind of punishment of. I won't say murder because I don't think they just went there just to fucking just kill him. But these people have a pretty notorious or infamous kind of I guess bravado about them. It's definitely reputation is not the greatest with this Blackwater unit. They're known as pretty ruthless people. at least what I could find, they were quite ruthless and had a bad reputation. Or maybe good, it depends, I guess, of how you look at it. But, so, given the circumstances and all the eyewitnesses and what went down, I believe this is in my opinion. I don't know if it's murder. I don't think they deserve murder charges. Second degree murder is definitely there. Homicide for sure. Because I don't think they did this necessarily on purpose. Although that could be the case here. Definitely depending on how you want to look at it. I don't think who shot first is really too relevant considering none of these guys died and a bunch of people on the other side died. So, that's very hard to judge, especially in the wartime scenario. In the scenario that they were put in, it's definitely hard to judge if you weren't there. And based on the reports, I think these guys are definitely guilty of something. But to what extent, who fucking knows, and probably never fucking find out the truth, unfortunately. It's just, that's our government, that's the Iraq government, that's just how it went down, unfortunately. I don't agree with any of these guys' actions, and I don't think they probably shouldn't have been pardoned, to be perfectly honest. I think that was kind of a stupid thing of Trump to do, especially, given his reputation. He probably should have stayed away from that kind of shit. I guess they're about to be pardoned by Obama, but that didn't happen. Maybe those reports are wrong. Maybe I'm mistaken on that. But I think that was brought up at one point in time, but he didn't do it. So, second degree murder, probably the most likely of outcomes. That's what they're, guilty of. They didn't, plan on this. They didn't go into this exact location and just decide they wanted to kill people no matter what. I don't think that's the situation here. But I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong on that. I just don't believe that's the case here. But it was just very difficult, very, very difficult to come to a conclusion without going to extremes of, yeah, Trump is a piece of shit, and these guys are just piece of shit murderers of 17 civilians and a couple kids, and they just did it because they're fucking pieces of shit, and they just deserve whatever they're coming to them. It was very hard. Like looking at all the evidence and all this stuff. That's pretty much my conclusion to the whole fucking shit show that happened there. No matter what, the circumstances of all events that took place, this shouldn't have happened. 17 civilians. Regardless, we don't know if there's really civilians, but I'm going to give the Iraqi government some benefit of the doubt here and say these people are innocent in second degree murder charges are definitely up there. And the pardon pretty much releases them from pretty much all guilt. And unfortunately, the United States is not part of the treaty that they can be, convicted of war crimes. Because, if that happened, they can charge our president of war crimes, and that's probably for the best. Especially when we have to go to war and we have to do things. So that's probably for the best, depending on how you want to look at it. But hopefully we find out more. I doubt it. I very highly doubt we'll ever find out because I'm 100% convinced the United States knows exactly what went down here. But they're not going to say shit. Even though these people were kind of contracted out and more like mercenaries, from what I can tell, than actual real soldiers, they're not going to say shit. And if you want to take the Iraqi government's findings verbatim, they're 100% guilty. They fired first, and they killed these people just in cold blood, basically. So, definitely look into it. Come to your own conclusions. My own conclusion is that probably guilty of second-degree murder and shouldn't have been pardoned. And it's very hard to do any kind of research whatsoever on here. Thank you for listening. Write, comment, subscribe.